Bram Stoker, The Jewel of 7 Stars, narrated by Alan Montero. Chapter 1. A Summons in the Night. It all seemed so real that I could hardly imagine that it had ever occurred before, and yet each episode came, not as a fresh step in the logic of things, but as something expected. It is in such a wise that memory plays its prank for good or ill, for pleasure or pain, for weal or woe. It is thus that life is bittersweet, and that which has been done becomes eternal. Again, the light skiff, ceasing to shoot through the lazy water as when the oars flashed and dripped, glided out of the fierce July sunlight into the cool shade of the great drooping willow branches. I standing up in the swaying boat, she sitting still, and with deft fingers guarding herself from stray twigs or the freedom of the resilience of moving boughs. Again, the water looked golden brown under the canopy of translucent green, and the grassy banks was of emerald hue. Again, we sat in the cool shade, with the myriad noises of nature both without and within our bower, merging into that drowsy hum in whose sufficing environment the great world, with its disturbing trouble and its more disturbing joys, can effectually be forgotten. Again, in that blissful solitude, the young girl lost the convention of her prim, narrow upbringing, and told me, in a natural dreamy way, of the loneliness of her new life. With an undertone of sadness, she made me feel how in that spacious home each one of the household was isolated by the personal magnificence of her father and herself, that their confidence had no altar and sympathy no shrine, and that there even her father's face was as distant as the old country life seemed now. Once more, the wisdom of my manhood and the experience of my years laid themselves at the girl's feet. It was seemingly their own doing, for the individual I had no say in the matter, but only just obeyed imperative orders. And once again the flying seconds multiplied themselves endlessly, for it is in the arcana of dreams that existences merge and renew themselves, change and yet keep the same, like the soul of a musician in a fugue. And so memory swooned again and again in sleep. It seems that there is never to be any perfect rest. Even in Eden, the snake rears its head among the laden boughs of the tree of knowledge. The silence of the dreamless night is broken by the roar of the avalanche, the hissing of the sudden
Sample complete. Ready to continue?